Okay, this is a reaction video. This is from Lawrence from Lost in the Pond. I found America's weirdest place names. And I don't know what this one's about because I haven't seen it yet. So this will be interesting. Now, this is a somber day for my friends across the pond. Today that I'm doing this is the day that Queen Elizabeth II is being laid to rest. And I actually saw the Queen back when I was 4 or 5 years old in Bermuda. She came to visit the island, and we all got out of school a little bit early. And I remember some British security people coming in and giving us little British flags to wave. And but I do remember seeing Queen Elizabeth uh, back then. That was mid 70s. But uh, I see the Union Jack flag, and that's why I'm thinking about what today is and probably what it means for Lawrence. So spare a thought for him and the people of England and Great Britain as a whole. But thanks for watching this video. But let's go on to the reaction. I found America's weirdest place names.
Hello, here's a question. Have you ever been born and raised in Britain only to later move to America and realise that some of the things that we do, they also do?
Nope, can't say that I have.
Well, I have. And this year, for whatever reason, has taken me down the road of place names. Because not only did some places in the United States take their names from places in Britain, but like Britain, things can often get a bit quirky.
There's a place called London, Ohio. And there's a few places. I'm trying to think of any other places I could think of that are like towns or cities in Britain that are, or in England, that are the same in the United States.
So, if you're subscribed to this channel, and why wouldn't you be, you'll see that I've looked at American place...
That's Tucson, not Tucson.
...place names that are bloody hard to say. I've looked at American place names...
Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Names that can't be said in the workplace because they're so rude. And this is the sort of quirkiness I'm talking about, the kind of quirkiness that I would see all the time in Britain. And another example of this is something that I've been looking into deeply over the past 2 weeks. And that is weird place names. You see, I thought that Britain topped the lot when it came to places that most people find unfathomable, like the Isle of Dogs or Pratt's Bottom or Ipswich. But it turns out that America almost out-weirds us. All across the country there are place names that look like they belong in a thesaurus, never mind a map of the United States. There are so many of them, in fact, that I'm now in discussions with my producers to make this into a series. And so without further ado, here are potentially the 7 weirdest place names in America. And let's start off with one that I've heard of because of...
You just showed us the state of New Mexico, so let's see what he finds in New Mexico.
Doctor Who. Down in the southwestern portion of a southwestern state sits a small southwestern town of about 6,000 southwestern people. Its name is Truth or
Consequence. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, that's where Cactus Jack is supposedly from.
Consequences, New Mexico. And it seemed almost impossible not to start this list with a city that sounds like it was named after a game show, especially since that's precisely what happened. You see, before 1950, the city went by the name of Hot Springs in honor of its veritable collection of hot springs. But in that very year, an NBC radio host by the name of Ralph Edwards announced that he would air his program's 10th anniversary from the first city to name itself after the show. That show's name was Truth or Consequences. Hot Springs, New Mexico was evidently quickest off the buzzer. And since March 1950, the city has retained that very name even long after the show had gone off air.
There are a lot of different ways to call a name. Usually it's after the last name of somebody. But hey, true name after a TV show in the 1950s.
For British viewers, that would be like naming Grimsby after Supermarket Sweep, which, to be fair, might help the local economy. In 2015, Truth or Consequences was the setting for a Doctor Who storyline, in which the city became overrun with Zygons. And I can only think that...
I never watched Doctor Who. I was a bigger Star Trek fan, but I've known of Doctor Who for a long time. I used to have it on PBS here in America, but I never watched Doctor Who.
If the Doctor had let them know that their spiritual home of Roswell was just 200 miles away, they'd have left in a jiffy.
Now we're looking at... See, if you're looking at those states there, just, because he had New Mexico at the bottom, to the left of New Mexico is Arizona, to the north is Utah, and to the right, which is shown right there, that's Colorado. And those four states, the only four states in the United States that come together as like four corners. And there's a place called Four Corners where you can literally go, and I've been there before, where you can stand in all four states at once.
600 miles to the north, there are approximately 240 people exactly who can accurately claim that they live in a town by the name of Dinosaur. I'm not making that up. Dinosaur. Not Dinosaurville or Cretaceous Alley. Dinosaur. Nestled in northwestern Colorado, the town originally went by Baxter Springs because springs are a feature of every oddly named town, apparently. Later, it was renamed Artesia in reference to its water supply. But by 1966, this name too had become extinct. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw exactly what you did there.
And it was then that Dinosaur first took pride and place on the road signs of the town. And eventually, get this, the same could even be said of certain species of dinosaur, with the town incorporating streets such as
Triceratopteris, Antrodemus Alley. Okay.
Tops Terrace, Plateosaurus Place, and Diplodocus Drive, which just leaves one giant crater of a question. Why did somebody decide to name the town after the world's most famous extinct reptile? And the answer is simple. They didn't, technically. Artesia was renamed Dinosaur to capitalize on its close proximity to Dinosaur National Monument. Just head north on the Stegosaurus Freeway and take a left on Brontosaurus Boulevard. They are real.
Okay, now we're in Pennsylvania, a state directly to the east of mine.
As somebody who has seen firsthand the growth of American exports to Britain, I was surprised to find that the country has one export that's never left the country, a borough by the name of Export, Pennsylvania. As
that's different.
you'll see further down this list, American town planners evidently have a niche hobby of just making place names out of common verbs and nouns. Just ask the 900 people living in Export. Located roughly 20 miles east of Pittsburgh, the borough acquired its name at a time that the area was a big producer of coal. In fact, several entrances to an old abandoned mine were recently discovered in the town of Export, which simply took its name from the fact.
Well, the United States is a big place, so they're going to have a lot of weird names. So he could probably do a whole series on this. But yeah, Export, that's so weird. Dinosaur, yeah, I now know why they call it Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. But and I've heard of that before. But Dinosaur, okay, but Export. I mean, there's a whole slew of names. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Fact that it used to distribute coal to the rest of the country. And it makes you wonder, why didn't they just go with something more conventional like Coal City? Well, it could be something to do with the fact that Export isn't a city, and also the fact that there are already 5 coal cities in the United States. Not that that stopped America before.
Yeah, I'm going up to Washington.
Equally, you're probably about to wonder why a town in the state of Washington was given the very peculiar name of Concrete, and not, say, Cement City. And the answer is this particular town has gone by both, sort of. And actually, I'm starting to think that it's had more pseudonyms than London.
That's not really well, yeah, I don't know that I would ever call a town Concrete, but, I guess everybody has their reasons.
London, because originally it was named Minnehaha, but was renamed in the late 1800s to Baker, in reference to the nearby river of the same name. But, not long after, the Washington Portland...
I'm guessing Minnehaha has to do with the Native American population that may have been up there. That's a guess.
Cement Company established a settlement across the river.
Okay, so a cement company came up there, and that's how it got the name.
Giving rise to Cement City, which I think we can all agree is a solid name. But by 1908, the company had built a plant in Baxter on the other side of the river.
Apologize for my throat. It's usually like this in the morning. Sorry.
So the decision was made to mix the two settlements together. And a public vote was carried out among residents of the town to pave the way toward a new name.
There we go. Pave the way. I love it.
The town of Concrete was thereafter set in stone. I'm not even ashamed.
Boy, has he got any more of those to go?
Ashamed.
Now we're going to Texas.
2,300 miles away.
Okay, so we got Truth or Consequences, we got Dinosaur, we got Export, we got Concrete. Now, this is going to be the fifth one. Which one's going to be?
On the border of Texas and Louisiana lies an oddly named city of about 85 people. Incorporated in 1961, the city of Uncertain, Texas.
I'm guessing this has to do with it's on the border of Louisiana and Texas. They didn't know which Texans or are we from Louisiana?
Did not get its name because its residents were indecisive. Rather, it could be argued
Okay, I guessed it and I was wrong.
that they were too decisive. You see, the story goes that when the area posted its initial township application, it hadn't yet been given a name. Therefore, residents who filled out the application listed uncertain in the name field. We've all done it. But unbelievably, the people that approve these sorts of things took the residents a little bit too literally, and the town was condemned to an uncertain future. Seriously, that...
Boy, he's got a ton of those, doesn't he? I mean, does he? I wonder if he actually sits and writes and thinks this stuff out, or just comes off the top of his head.
That's how it got its name.
Now we're in Illinois, which is where he lives. He's in Chicago.
Die-hard fans of Lost in the Pond will know this. Since moving here to the United States, I am continually amazed by America's unwavering obsession with rectangles. Rectangular streets, rectangular parks, rectangular counties.
Yeah, that was Central Park.
Rectangular states, rectangular stripes on its rectangular flag. And in Detroit, they even have rectangular pizza. So it should surprise absolutely nobody that here in the state of Illinois,
Are we going rectangular Illinois? Is there a place called that?
noted for its rectangular farmland and rectangular skyscrapers, is a little place by the name of Oblong, which is a type of rectangle. And Oblong, which is a village of almost 1,400 people, was incorporated in 1883. And at the time of its naming, the village people, not the band...
Yeah, the band, I got it.
From the 70s, but just people that lived in the village, noticed that the area happened to sit on an oblong-shaped prairie, and that's how it got its name. And the thing about this that made me lose sleep last night was, what if it was shaped like a dodecahedron? I just looked up what a dodecahedron is, and that would have been impossible. So, crisis averted.
Now we're going to North Carolina.
And last but not least, we find ourselves in the state of North Carolina, because why not? No, really, why not? That why not is the name of this entry. Why not North Carolina is a real place that's located roughly in the centre of the state that was settled in the 18th century by English and German people. And it seems to be surrounded by other communities with unusual names, such as the communities of Hemp, Lonely, Sophia, and Erect.
I'm surprised he didn't choose Erect for the name instead of, well, he's got his reasons.
That last one sounds like it must be a very hard place to live.
Oh,
but
okay,
why not?
That got more, a hard place. Yeah, well.
North Carolina is one of
I can come up with some if I really thought about it.
those places that makes a lot of those lists of unusual place names, like this list. But how the heck did the town get its name? Well, it comes back to a meeting that should have been an email. Because when members of the town were debating what to call it, one dude yelled out, "Why not name the town Why Not and let's go home?" There's always one. But ultimately, he got his way. Almost. You see, he wanted it to be 2 words, and for a while there it was. But at some stage, somebody presumably said, how can we make this look like it wasn't just an act of laziness? So they turned why not into 1 word and hoped we wouldn't notice. Obviously, they didn't bank on the fact that a couple of centuries later, a YouTube sensation would come forward and spread this history to the rest of the world, or several thousand people. And that's it. I'm Lawrence Brown. Why not follow me on Twitter at Lost in the Pond US, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I don't have to. And thank you to all of my patrons with whom I discuss trivia just like this on our weekly secret live streams. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com.
Okay, this was interesting. The names, let's see, I can remember them all. Truth or Consequences, I'd heard of before. The other ones I'd never heard of before. Dinosaur, Colorado, Export, Pennsylvania, Concrete, Washington, the one on Texas. Actually, I'm already forgetting them. I remember Why Not And, we all have our reasons for naming towns what they are. And if you travel the United States, you'll see a bunch of these things. I'm sure there's a bunch of things like that over in England. I don't know. Like, I've never been there before. One of these days, I will get over there and take a look at it. Maybe I'll do a video of my own on this. I doubt it, but we'll see. But anyway, my condolences on the loss of Queen Elizabeth II to my friends over in England and the Great Britain. But please click like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe for Lawrence. And please click like, share, and subscribe for me. And thanks for watching. I enjoyed this one. Thank you very much.